Welcome back. Tonight we have a match against two very similarly themed teams, which are Crimson 5 and Red Dragons in Div C West. West teams deserving some casting love every once in a while. Their match was unfortunately not able to be casted live, but I'm here to try and provide some entertainment and some casting after the fact. The game happened 2 days ago. I did my best not to spoil myself, and I also changed the ticker at the beginning so that if you're not aware of the score, I'm not spoiling you either. We're going to go through it together and hopefully have a lot of fun doing so. If there are any members of Crimson 5 and Red Dragons in the chat, welcome! Hope you enjoyed the casting and the presentation tonight. Hope that you'll enjoy seeing your best and worst moments potentially displayed on the stream. And tonight we're going to see which ones of the red or crimson dragon-themed teams was the strongest 2 days ago. Without further ado, the map bans from those two teams were... Oh, I just have the picture, so let's make sure I have the right names. Brax's Holdout and Battlefield of Eternity banned from the side of Crimson 5, whereas Dragonshire and Garden of Terror were banned from the side of Red Dragons. And we have Infernal Shrines being picked, I'm not sure exactly by which team. Unfortunately, it's hard to tell with only a replay. We won't have access to the draft either, but hopefully we'll still have a lot of quality gameplay to inspect, and hopefully you can make sense of the drafting that they did with which team will have on each side. So, let's go into a short intro video, and without any further delay and incessant talking, we'll go into the next game.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light bulb.
Here. Four-man mosh pit followed by a tomb. Oh no! Oh, a huge light bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man light bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my God! When does this happen? Everybody's dead.
The battle begins in...
Alright, we're loading into Infernal Shrines. It looks like one of the players had a disconnect during the game, but everything seems to have ended up being fine. So let's look at the heroes on either side. On the side of Crimson 5, we have Rewind on the Alexstrasza, Exune on the Vala, Shadownis on the Dehaka, Treywork on the Muradin, and Mongo Man on the Jaina. And on the side of Red Dragons, we have Lifscuatoria on the Joanna, Jacobi on the Ragnaros, Dizzy on the Brightwing, Lunara Ursa on the Tychus, and Thalis on the Tassadar. And let's watch the skirmish that's already happening in the middle lane, as the Haka is getting an early lead in terms of soaking in the top lane. But thankfully for that Ragnaros, that experience should not have disappeared by the time he gets there. Meanwhile, the other two teams rotating together as efficiently as they can, mid-bot as is customary on this map. You see both of them poking at each other, trying to seize a potential opportunity to get a kill and seize an advantage. But Crimson 5 is looking at the bottom camp, having Vala and Alexstrasza stay bottom, while Red Dragons are rotating to the middle lane, taking advantage of a potential blind spot. But Red Dragons are not far behind, and the jig might be up, but it's too late for them to capitalize and try to interrupt the camp being taken. It's going to go over to Crimson 5. Meanwhile, Red Dragons takes their camp, the camp of Crimson 5, on which is being taken by Vala slowly but surely. is still up. There's still an opportunity for Red Dragons. Oh no, but Vala, hidden in the bush, gets a few resets on the camp. Unfortunately, that's going to delay her being able to take it, and Red Dragons are now all over it, trying to get the invade, which would put a lot of pressure for them in the middle lane if they manage to do that. But Crimson 5 are not letting themselves be bullied. They're responding very quickly, but their heroes are very low on health. The phase shift is going to save Thalas for now, and save him for good. Tychus gets the kill on Murd, and very well done. He might be in a little bit of trouble of his own, but Vala is alone. Oh, but the polymorph falls on her, and now she's the one who's in a lot of trouble. Being taken down by the Tychus once again. 2 for 1 early in this game. Shadonis taking a little more damage to Jacobia, but thankfully for him, Dahaka is very good at regenerating his own health. So he shouldn't be too much in a hurry. Talus taking a lot of damage from the Jaina. Jaina is trying to retreat, but Lunar Ursa is on the chase, and Mungo Man manages to survive with only about 15 health, being saved by the Alexstrasza with the emergency heal. We see the first objective popping up. Jacobia getting an early lead on the damage on those minions. With their resources so low, Crimson 5 opting to first of all clean this camp that took down their wall and then try to do make something happen. Dahaka is still top, but he has the ability to come down and help very, very quickly. But it's already 32 minions for the side of Red Dragon, and it looks like Crimson 5 is opting to simply soak. They're going to get an early 7. Very small experience advantage. 7 is about to be gotten by Red Dragon, however. But that's a lot of pressure being put into the top lane as well. Let's see if Crimson 5 is able to get more damage than they're about to receive. A lot of damage goes down onto that Punisher. So many dragons tonight, I can't help but have it slip into my vocabulary. A lot of damage going onto Trey Work, but he is Murd and he is going to be able to escape. The Punisher goes onto the Vala, and she's locked in place for a while, but manages to dash away, and the heal from the Alexstrasza is enough to keep her alive and almost fully capped. But that fort is going to go down, and suddenly Crimson 5 has taken a lot of damage. Red Dragon doing very good with this first objective. Now they're looking at taking a camp, but Crimson 5 has some good resources. They have the opportunity to try and invade. Treywork is taking a lot of damage from the Tychus and the Tassadar, and he's not going to be able to stay in there for very long. The damage output from Tychus is simply enormous, especially on tanks. So it looks like Red Dragons is going to be, from there on, uncontested for that camp. They have caught up on experience, both teams relatively equal. Dahaka trying to do some double soaking for his team while they're fighting in the bottom lane. Doing so a little bit faster than Ragnaros could. Camp is being taken. Crimson 5 was looking for potential invade, but they're slightly too late. Their camp is about to be up, however. But they can't be losing that Jaina if they want to take it. Jaina's getting very low on health. Tychus is on the chase, misses the grenade, but his minigun is going to finish the job with Tychus's help, of course. And now, they're not going to have much opposition for taking this camp. I saw that bribe. It looks like Brightwing went for Pixie Charm. I did not realize that. It's a very rare talent to see, but I do like to see generally less popular talents being taken. Adds a little bit of variety. The middle fort of Crimson 5 is being put under a lot of pressure, but you do have 4 people there. A lot of damage goes on to Thalas. He pops the Archon at the same time Odin goes down. Those are 2 very, very strong ults you don't necessarily want to engage into. But a lot of damage goes on to the Joanna. She uses her Unstoppable to get a lot of shield. Mungo Man taking a lot of damage from the from Thalas and then the Tychus. But the team of Red Dragons is very low on health. Their resources are all but depleted and are desperately trying to escape. Vala getting 2 kills. Very well done. Seeing an opportunity and taking it. And a fight that looked very, very, very good for Red Dragons now went onto the other side. But they do have still an experience advantage, some pressure in the bottom lane. And they're taking... Oh, actually, their camp is being invaded. Which is not going to bode well for them. Well played by Crimson 5. Ooh, Red Dragons is around the corner. Will they try to intercept? It doesn't look like they want to take the risk, which is probably the more wise thing to do here. Objective is coming up. While the Hawkeye is cleaning the bottom lane, he will be able to use his Z ability to come into the fight very quickly if necessary, or he could just stay and soak. Depending on what Crimson 5 decides is the best call. There's a full 5-man team of Red Dragons on the objective. They don't want to let this one go. They want it for themselves. And they're going to put a lot of resources into taking down those minions. Getting them a very, very strong early lead. Crimson 5 is going strong into that objective with the help of the Haka. Now they're turning and attacking, and the Dragon Queen comes down, doing a lot of healing and a lot of damage. Red Dragons are very, very low. Brightwing manages to keep most of them alive, all of them alive actually. A little unfortunate click on Ballas for the phase shift. That must have been a slight mistake. Joanna comes back with a little more help. Now Red Dragons has the resources to fight. Now Crimson 5 and Red Dragons are fighting for the last few minions, but it looks like Red Dragons is going to get the one that they need slightly before Crimson 5 could. A lot of damage going on to that Dehaka. He tries desperately to escape, but the chase is too strong. It slows the pull from the Joanna. Treyarch is going to have a slightly better fate, as he does manage to walk away. But that fort is not going to be standing for much longer. Exune in a lot of trouble, taking a lot of damage. That vault coming in handy. And now that the Punisher is at the gate. And both Rewind and Exune are very, very low on health. And if that Punisher goes on to Rewind, I don't think she's going to survive. I don't think Alexstrasza is. Most of the team of Crimson 5 opting to push up against the Ragnaros. They did manage to get the kill. The Punisher did a lot of damage to the middle lane, but was taken down finally. But Red Dragons has a lot of lane pressure, and they're going to use it. They're going to try and paint the entire map red. But still, the experience is very, very equal still. A little bit late for that, but maybe not too late. Let's look at the talents that we have for level 10. We got Cleansing Flame, Rain of Vengeance, Isolation, Avatar, and Water Elemental. On the other side, we have Blessed Shield, Lava Wave, Blink Heal, Commandeer Odin, and Archon. You've seen them already. And those are our ults. I'm very excited about the Lava Wave. That could be very, very instrumental for Red Dragons to keep the pressure on in all lanes and keep Crimson 5 busy cleaning the lanes rather than actually taking camps and objectives around the map. They're already putting a lot of pressure both on top and on bottom. And middle has a camp pushing as well. Water Elemental comes out. Unfortunately, a lot of its damage goes on to the minions. Lots of damage in the back. And Red Dragons gets what they wanted. They get a lot of pressure down. Another minion wave is coming. They're just going to retreat. Not tempting their luck for too long, knowing that the Dehaka could come at any moment from any angle. Ooh, but they're going to turn around using the bush as cover. Beautiful, beautiful setup. Alexstrasza trying desperately to get as many heals as she can. Treyarch goes down. His Dwarf Toss, not quite enough to keep him alive. Mungo Man is taking a lot of damage, is going to be able to walk away. The drag onto the Joanna, but she has Unstoppable and a lot of shield. That drag could have been so much more impactful if it had landed on anyone else. So Joanna, all in all, must be pretty happy that she took it. And the pressure is going to keep mounting on with, at the top lane, the Ragnaros doing a lot of damage to the top fort as well. It looks like Red Dragons is getting a huge advantage into the beginning of the late game. Tassadar is being very, very reckless, takes a lot of damage, overstaying his welcome a little bit. And now, when this objective comes up, suddenly, Crimson 5 has the 5v4 advantage for at least the next 34 seconds, and even a little more because it takes some time for Tassadar to walk over there. And the advantage of Red Dragons is slightly diminished from that. And it looks like they're simply going to opt to give it, not wanting to take a risk into a 4v5. Instead, they're going to be looking for Dehaka. They do find him, but it's Dehaka we're talking about. He manages to walk away. Meanwhile, Red Dragons takes their camp, getting some value somewhere else on the map. They take down top fort, which is probably the best thing they could do at this point. Crimson 5 getting a very strong advantage with this Punisher. It's going to go into a lane where all the structures are still up, honestly. The Molten Core is being used to do a little bit of preemptive damage on that Punisher. It's going to be baited over the wall by Thalas, who takes a lot of damage, but has the shields to survive. Meanwhile, Red Dragons, instead of committing all of their resources to defend, are going to opt to be aggressive and try and take Crimson 5 on the defensive. They do manage to bring both of those bruiser camps all the way to the keep, but they're going to be cleaned up. Ooh, Joanna trying to turn onto the Vala, but great peeling by Treywork. Well, this camp is being taken, and it looks like they're going to be looking at the other ones as well. Crimson 5 doesn't want to let this camp go down, it looks like. They're going to take it first. But Red Dragons has 4 people in this area, and Brightwing could come at any moment. And they do manage to take it. And now the only camp left on the map is their own, which should be relatively easy to take. And the entire map is now painted red, with all 3 structures of Red Dragons still up and running. While Crimson 5 are down to their keeps. It's going to be a little tough for them to survive into this late game and turn things around, especially as Red Dragons has now their 20th level talent. Jaina goes down from the Odin and the Archon being used at the same time conjointly. A very, very dangerous combo to walk into. And they're going to be looking at destroying this keep, and they do get it. The Lavoy is being used at the top. There's now pressure from Red Dragons in all lanes. Alexstrasza uses her ultimate to escape. She tries to heal Shadonis, but he's going to go down. Treywork uses his Dwarf Toss to escape. But what can he do now? Rewind. Man falls back down after the ult, but with only her and the Muradin, what can they really do to try and stop this? I think this is going to be GG for this first game. Molten Core being used to secure Treywork. Very low on health, is going to be finished by the Tychus. A beautiful wall blocking Alexstrasza's retreat. But did they even need that? The core goes down. GG's being called, and the first game goes over to Red Dragons. All right. We saw a very, very strong display from Red Dragons in this first game, opting for a lot more lane pressure and camp invades. They were very proactive in their play, and I definitely can appreciate that. Crimson 5 were no pushover, however. They really did some awesome plays as well, managed to get very, very important picks right before objective, but unfortunately for them, Red Dragons just had so much damage coming out of the Tychus, constantly on either the Dehaka or Muradin, kept Muradin constantly on the back foot, having to use his Dwarf Toss to escape, not being able to peel or set up follow-up CC for his fellow teammates, and that was it. For the talents, I was very, very interested in the Brightwing build. Being a Brightwing aficionado myself, that is not something we see very often. Almost all of those talents, except maybe Magic Spit and Blink Heal, well, this one as well, but a lot of the talents were unusual for a Brightwing, but it worked. It worked for them, and I love to see it. I love to see off-meta picks and weird builds. So if you liked the way that those players played their game in this first match, feel free to look at those talents, copy them for your own games, and try to do as well as they did, or even better. We're going to go to a very, very short break, and then we're going to be back with Game 2. Be right there. We are back, and our second game is going to happen on Alterac Pass. Once again, I have no way to know which team picked this map, or what they drafted, but this is what you have to deal with replay casts, and the games are still going to be very entertaining. Alterac Pass is a very, very large map with very strong objectives. You have to free your unit from the imprisoned the prison of your opponent, and it goes on a certain timer. And when the timer goes down, several strong units charge from your lanes towards your opponent's structures. The boss on this map is very, very special, being more of a the core rather is very special, being more of a boss that attacks and has different abilities and regenerates over time. Very interesting map. It's one of my favorites personally. I really like playing on it. I know some people have some rather negative opinions about it. So let's go for a short intro video once again, and we'll meet you in game.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light bulb.
Here. 4-man mosh pit followed by a tomb. Oh no! Oh, here's Light Bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man Light Bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my God! When does this happen? Everybody's dead.
Welcome back to game number 2 of this series. I'm getting some insight from Lifscuatoria. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, by the way. Who is playing the Stitches on this second game. That Crimson 5 picked first and third maps, and Red Dragon picked second. So Red Dragons picked this map. So thanks for the insight. Very, very appreciated. And so let's present our players. We have Lifscuatoria on the Stitches, Jacoby on the Artanis, Lunar Ursa on the Lieutenant Morales, Dizzy on the Leeming, and Thalis on the Cassia. And on the side of Red Dragons, we have Rewind on the Rhaegar, Mango Man on the Vala, Shadowness on the Leoric, Treywork on the ETC, and Exune on the Grey Mane. Very excited to see some Lieutenant Morales. We don't see her very often in Div C and above, and I always like to see Greymane as well. The team of Red Dragons having a lot of potential for reaching the back line, but Greymane goes down a little bit adventurous, gets apprehended by the entirety of Crimson 5 and taken down rather swiftly. Crimson 5 are rotating down. At least Jacoby and Thalis are, to try and get some of the soak here. Maybe a lucky pick on Mungo Man, but it's not going to happen. Vala opting to be careful. And they're all over the map, setting up potential ganks top and bottom at the same time. Exune is going to go on the camp a little bit earlier than Crimson 5 will. Thalis making his way with Lunar Ursa on their back. Some lane pressure from Red Dragon already in the top lane. Stitches is going to go and get rid of it. We're going to see if Red Dragons opts to try and push with this camp, which they're going to have very much earlier than Crimson 5. They're having some trouble during this camp. Ooh, and I missed this, and I wish I could have seen it, but Artanis went down to a very strong gank from Red Dragons. Crimson 5 is going to clear this camp as fast as they can, while theirs is making its way in. The Stitches is being stunned in the middle of the team of Red Dragons, but thankfully for Stitches, he has a lot of health to help him survive those kinds of situations. Lyric is alone in the top lane. Well, Crimson 5 is looking at a pick on Exune once again. Exune being slightly bullied in this first half of the game and pushing their camp onto the wall. Rewind going down on the Rhaegar. A lot of damage going on to him, but it's the camp that finishes him off. And the entire first mid-wall of Red Dragons is now down. Treywork with a beautiful stun manages to save Exune's life potentially. And the first objective is going to come up. And I always like on this map to see how the different teams decide to play the objective, because there's a lot of flexibility in how you can handle this one. Crimson 5 still putting a lot of damage or a lot of pressure into that mid wall. Even the side walls are completely down now. They did not like that wall standing. They're going to look first at the objective, while Red Dragons is opting to do some soaking in the top and the bottom. They're going to let Crimson 5 get a slight advance on that objective, but they're still looking at trying to interrupt it. But they're not going to have their full team with them. It is a little dangerous. Team names are swapped. Is it only for this game, or is it for the entire Yeah, it looks like it. I remember, I know the names were on the other side last time. This is slightly confusing. I'm sorry I didn't notice it earlier, but we're going to have to swap this around. I'm going to pause this real quick, and we're going to see if we can... oh, this is going to be complicated. I don't think I can do that in short enough time with the application I'm using. Be worth it. I'm just going to have to not mess up saying the names from now on. I'm sorry about that. So we have Crimson 5 on the right side, and Red Dragons on the left this time around, it seems. It happens. Both of the teams are red, to be honest. Red Dragons and Crimson 5. But the first objective goes over to Red Dragons on the left side. They're going to put a lot of pressure into all three of the lanes, but mostly in the top there's a big engagement. Leoric goes down, a lot of damage. Jacobia being targeted by the Greymane, but manages to walk away with a lot of shield. Rewind being now the target of Red Dragon's Wrath. And it's now a 5v4 for Red Dragons. They do still have a lot of resources, some of their heroes being slightly low on mana, but otherwise a lot of health. Thanks for letting me know though, Liscutoria. I'm sorry if I keep butchering your name. But thanks for being here and letting me know, because I didn't notice until you said so. We're going to see both camps being taken. And with Rhaegar on the team of Crimson 5, this one might go down a little faster. Actually, it looks like they're going to be taken at the same time, approximately. We see Vala trying to skirmish with Artanis. Beautiful stun and a lot of damage going down, and she had another stun ready for if he survived that one. Very well done. I did not expect that one. Very well played. Both of the camps are going to meet in the middle. Crimson 5 is looking to destroy their enemy's camp and try to get theirs pushing. Both teams, however, ready to fight it out if they have to. Oh, beautiful Entomb! Potentially saves the life of Greymane. We see a mosh pit going down, but it's being interrupted very, very quickly. The Stitches takes a lot of damage from Vala and finally goes down from the Greymane. Thalas has to retreat, so does Straywork. Mongoman taking a lot of damage from the Li Ming, but survives. And this is a very strong engagement from Crimson 5, a very close one, but that Entomb was very, very good. The skirmish is being taken to the top lane. We see Greymane looking to potentially start this objective. All the team of Crimson 5 is ready to take it first. Ooh, the channeling is going to be interrupted by a very well-timed and placed hook, and Mongoman is in a lot of trouble, going to be using that stun to escape, helped by their team. Manages to barely get away. Red Dragons is looking for a fight. They need to take that objective back. Shadowin is taking a lot of damage, but Wraith walking out of there. Stitches being targeted by the Vala, and that Entomb might spell his doom. Vala is doing her best, but it takes a lot to take him down. Rhaegar falls as well, followed by Cassia. Shadowin on the retreat. And it looks like Red Dragons is going to have, or rather, Crimson 5, this is very confusing, but I'm doing my best. Crimson 5 managing to get a slight advantage here, but their objective channel was stopped. They do have the advantage, though, if they take it back. If both objectives are taken at the same time, Crimson 5 would come out on top. Vala retreats. And it looks like Red Dragons are going to have a lot of resources whenever they decide to fight next. A gank going on to that Artanis. Beautiful Entomb once again. They've been on point so far this game. Jacobia trying to escape, but is going to be body blocked by Treyarch. A lot of damage coming from Rewind. Is it enough? It is. Even the healing from the Lieutenant Morales doesn't manage to save him. It looks like that healing beam accidentally went on a minion instead, which is very unfortunate. And Crimson 5 takes this camp once again. Or rather, the objective. Beautiful hooks, followed by a gorge on the Rhaegar. He's in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have a whole lot of ways to escape apart from his slow. He's going down. But the objective is still going on. Only 5 seconds to try and interrupt it, but the entire team, -1 of Crimson 5, is there to make it not happen. They're going to grab this objective. Another Entomb, this one, however, not managing to get a lot done. Crimson 5 got what they wanted, however, and they're now retreating. You had whoever was picking map make lobby, so I think it's only swapped for this one. I understand. I mean, whoever makes the lobby ends up on the left. Oftentimes when we get live casts, we just swap so that on the cast itself it works. But since you weren't casting live, I don't blame you for not thinking about it or not doing it. I just have to adapt. You see a lot of pressure going into the top and bottom, while the mid was being taken care of very, very fast. Leoric is going to escape very, very swiftly. Is it enough to take down this fort? It looks like it's barely not going to be quite enough. This fort survives with 52 HP.
That's how real warriors fight.
And now I'm not exactly sure how to make this disappear from my screen. Oh well. We'll go with it. The show must go on. The mid fort does go down, however. This one is a sneeze away from falling. We see all of that fire somehow not burning it down. And both teams are looking at their camp now that they have a moment of reprieve. Crimson 5 slightly ahead when it comes to the experience. They're going to get to their level 16 first. Artanis is being left alone to deal with this camp, while we see some teamwork for this one. Meanwhile, Red Dragons is poking around the top boss. Will they try and start it? Shadonis is right around the corner. Both teams know that they know. And the entire team of Crimson 5 is going to try and respond to this. And it looks like Red Dragons are going to simply retreat. Is Crimson 5 going to take it for themselves? It looks like they want to. We see the fort being taken down. It only took a single ability or auto attack. Ooh, Gorge onto the ETC. If anyone can escape, it's probably him. And so he does. Mongo Man with a very good stun. Ooh, but beautiful Cassia ult grabs Val and brings her into danger. But Cassia takes a lot of damage as the entire team of Crimson 5 folds onto her. Now Stitches is very low as well. He's going to try and pull someone in to get a kill, but it connects on Treyarch, who can just walk away, unfortunately. Well, Artanis working on this camp. I don't think he got it the first time around. I think he might have stopped working on it to go and try and help at the boss, which is being taken by Crimson 5, while Red Dragons are looking at the objective. The bosses on this map are not as strong as on other maps, as they have a little bit less wave clear, and whatever they do to the boss will usually just get to the core rather will usually get healed up, but it can still put a lot of pressure into that top lane. Beautiful Mosh connects with 3 people. Lieutenant Morales almost goes down. There she goes. We see the Gorge onto Rhaegar, but the beautiful Entomb is going to keep him from going any further and get the kill on the Cassia. Crimson 5 once again managing to get more kills than their opponents and taking over this objective. But it's going to take them at least 50 seconds to channel it, which means that Red Dragons are going to have another chance to potentially go in there and stop it from happening. They do take down this fort. They're now 6 structures to 2, as this keep does go down to the boss, being unfortunately not stopped in time by Jacobia and Livscuitoria. I think I'm starting to say the name better. I'm learning. We see Crimson 5 opting to try and defend their channeling objective as long as they can. Shadon is staying in the bush to delay them as long as possible. Only 10 seconds left for them to defend it. Red Dragons are coming in strong. 2 people channeling it. They're going to succeed in interrupting it. Only 7 seconds left on it, and now it's time to fight to see who's going to be able to channel next. Beautiful stun from the Vala. Unfortunately for the ETC, the Mosh is going to get interrupted. Beautiful Entomb once again gets multiple people in. We see an attempt at a medevac drop from the Morales to get everyone out of here, but it gets destroyed before she can depart, and she falls along with the rest of her team, and it's a 5-man wipe from Crimson 5, and now they're looking at not only a camp from their opponent, but also an objective. But it looks like before they channel it, they're going to start that boss and help it push with the objective. It's going to be a huge push for Red Dragons to have to defend. Oh, but the ETC falls to the boss! Being taken by the slow, that boss does so much damage. Vala not going to be enough on her own. She's just going to do as much as she can while her teammates are coming to the rescue. And that's going to give some time for Red Dragons to come back up and try to defend. As this boss is, well, it looks like it's going to be pushing alongside the objective. It might arrive a little bit later since it's very slow. But the entire team of Crimson 5 wants to pressure that bottom lane where they know they have a win condition. The boss plus the objective plus everyone there, if they can get a kill or 2, it might just secure the end of the game. And the Entomb with the silence goes down on Stitches, but it doesn't manage to get anything more done. Another stun from the Vala. And Leoric gets eaten, but a lot of slow goes on to Stitches, not managing to bring Leoric as far as he wanted. Li Ming goes down from a beautiful dive from the Grey Mane. And now, with one member down, Jacobia being in a lot of trouble, probably going to fall. Crimson 5 is looking to end a very dominant display into this game, too. GG is called, and it's now 1-1. We're going into a game 3. Let's look at chat real quick. I've received a lot of different things. I'm getting someone who says the Stitch's name is pronounced like Lipkuter, but the player in question is saying no. I don't know if it's a no to me or to what the other person, or to what Father Wallington was saying. But either way, thanks for being here. I hope you enjoy the stream so far. And enough with the chat for now. Let's look at the stats and the talents. Crimson 5, very, very dominant display into the second game, especially the Vala. Definitely the MVP of that game. No deaths, 85,000 hero damage. Those stuns especially. The stuns don't really appear on this board, but it can be even more impactful than any sort of damage, and they were also there. Greymane doing very, very good as well to managed to get the kills in the backline on the Li Ming, for example, on the Morales, on the Cassia, all three very squishy targets, which makes me think maybe the Greymane was picked a little bit later in the draft. I don't know yet. On the side of Red Dragons, though, they did pretty well as well. Lieutenant Morales not managing to do quite as much healing, but we saw a lot of very, very good damage from the Li Ming and the Cassia. Stitches with beautiful hooks into Gorge that were very, very impactful, but unfortunately not quite enough. Into the talents, if you liked the way that any of those players played their game in game number 2, feel free to look at those talents, get inspiration from them, use them in your games. I think all of the players so far have been playing very, very well. We're going to go once again into a short break. Lifscutoria. Lifscutoria. I think I've got it now. Lifscutoria. Thank you. That's going to make my life easier. Alright, let's go for a short break, and I'll be right back. We are back for this third and final game of this match of Crimson 5 against Red Dragons. Those two teams with very, very similar themes, fighting to see who is the strongest of the dragons. Very, very good game so far. I'm very surprised to see such a dominant display from Red Dragons in the first game, and an equally dominant display from Crimson 5 in the second one. So this third game is going to be interesting. I'm hoping to see a much, much closer game than the previous two. Either way, it seems to me that both teams could win the series. I mean, one team already has, but I don't know that yet. But both teams seem to be on equal footing to me so far. We saw some very, very wonderful play from Stitches in this last game. We saw very, very good play from Crimson 5 as well with the Vala. Let's see what we're going to get from those two teams going into this third game, but first, let's go for a short intro video, and we're going to go to our game right after.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light bomb.
Here. 4-man mosh pit followed by a tomb. Oh no! Oh, a huge light bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man light bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my God! When does this
Prepare yourself.
Welcome to this game 3, the final game of our match tonight. Loading into Towers of Doom, we have from the side of Crimson 5, Rewind on the Anduin, Mangoman on the Vala, Exune on the Alarak, Shadonis on the Dehaka, and Treywork on the ETC. Once again, we see ETC and Vala, which were two very, very good heroes of the side of Crimson 5 last game. I'm excited to see them again. And on the side of Red Dragons, we have Livscutoria on the Garrosh. Livscutoria. There we go. Jacobio on the Zul, Lunar Ursa on the Jaina, Thalas on the Falstad, and Dizzy on the Tyrande. I like me some Tyrande play. The Jaina was also great last game. Excited to see it again. Zul, always very good on this map. Very good choices from both teams. I'm especially excited about the Alarak, and already we see a lot of damage going on to the Garrosh. He's still going to be looking aggressively onto Mangoman and gets the kill. That is what I call calculated risk. But while trying to get away Thalas, takes a lot of damage from the Alarak. But Livscutoria is on the peels, looking to protect their teammates. Thalas, however, in potentially a lot of trouble as the gank goes down. Treywork. It's followed by the silence. Very good silence. Prevents the bird from simply flying away. Making the kills equal, 1-to-1. Jacobio is going to be able to do very efficient double soaking for the side of Red Dragons. Thanks to that very, very fast wave clear. Slightly faster first camp being taken by Crimson 5. Doesn't look like they're going to be looking at an invade. They're simply going to try and push that camp to the gate of their opponent. Some interesting talents. For level 1, we see a Ranger build, which I'm always happy to see. It's always super fun. It's going to be very good at denying potential channels of the objective. Ooh, Garrosh in a lot of trouble. Root goes down, a lot of damage to follow up from that Vala, and he goes down. Well, a lot of pressure is going up here. We see hammering build from the Falstad, which I also love to see. We see overwhelming power from the Alarak and a Q build, puncturing arrow from the Vala. Those are all very, very interesting, and I can't wait to see what's going to come of that. Crimson 5 taking a very aggressive stance. Exune looking for a potential pick on the Falstad or the Tyrande. Not going to find it. And both teams orbiting around their bottom lane, which is the very much the strong lane on this map. The team of Crimson 5 opting to have Vala help with the soaking, try and counter the very, very high pressure that Zul is able to put. Livscutoria already channeling, being interrupted by the ETC. It's a 4v3 for Red Dragons. Now the Dehaka is on the team, turning things around. Zul is still very far away. Crimson 5 using their global advantage, putting a lot of damage on the Thalas, who was being silenced by Alarak, manages to get away. Surprisingly, still healthy are Red Dragons, but Jaina falls to a very, very good stun and push by ETC, showing us that his skills are more than simply Mosh, doing very, very well. The first objective is going to mostly go to the side of Crimson 5. But as we know, this map is one where everything and anything can happen, where you can go from 1 HP on your core and full HP on the enemy's core to winning the game. So anything can happen, and it's still very early. Already we see some damage on the gates. Red Dragons managing to do a little more in terms of pressure thanks to their Zol. But in terms of team fighting, the Haka gives Crimson 5 that slight edge by suddenly appearing out of nowhere in a way that Zol could never hope to do. Turning fights around, making them a 4v5 for the Red Dragons. They're going to have their camp taken a little bit later than Crimson 5, but they're here to take care of this. Silence goes down, it lifts Qutoria. Lots and lots of damage. Garrosh opting to throw ETC to try and get something back for the damages he's taking. Just manages to walk away, but the silence going down again. Beautiful plays by the Alarak, doing a lot of damage, but he might be overstaying his welcome. The pull from the Anduin, but he was so close. Is that going to be enough? It looks like it just might. And Anduin getting 2 kills. Obviously not doing most of that damage, most of it coming from the Vala, doing very well. And Crimson 5 is going to have a slight advantage starting this objective, but Red Dragons has the Falstad, has potential ways to interrupt that. Looks like they're not going to quite try to. The Owl goes that way, but it's going to be too late to arrive. And Crimson 5 is taking a relatively large advantage in terms of points. A gank on Dallas, once again, Alarak doing very well, using his ultimate to dash in and get the kill. Very well done. Let's look at those ultimates. We saw the Deadly Charge from Alarak being used here. We see Rain of Vengeance, Isolation, and Mosh Pit being taken. Love to see Mosh Pit. Anduin opting to hold on to both his level 7 and level 10 talents. Not something that I see very often. I wonder why that is. Level 10s are about to come up for Red Dragons. Maybe that's what Anduin is waiting for. Waiting to see what level 10s Red Dragons is going to take before he makes his choice. The boss is not going to be taken by either team, it looks like. And Crimson 5 is looking at ganking that Zol. Will he be able to get away? Luna Ursa on the rescue, doing just enough to manage to keep Crimson 5 away from her teammates. And on the side of Red Dragons, we see the ults being taken. We see Mighty Gust, love to see it. Starfall, Summon Water Elemental, Decimate, and Zol is still waiting to get his. But I'm thinking, with the comp they have, it's not impossible. We'll see Skeleton Mages, I believe they're called, potentially put onto whoever gets flipped by Garrosh. Oh, we see Poison Nova, also very, very good ult if he just wants to go in the middle of the enemy team, pop it, and get a lot of DOT onto the entire enemy team. See the Dehaka coming in. Crimson 5 looking to fight, but the Poison Nova goes down. Vala taking a lot of damage, being healed by the Anduin, and Zol is going to fall for his trouble, but there's a lot of damage still on Crimson 5. They're going to try and channel that Anduin ult, but it's not quite going to finish. It's going to get interrupted, and now Jaina is being shoved at the front by Garrosh, and she's going to use that opportunity to do a lot of damage on the 2 retreating heroes, taking them down. Very good play. I love to see teamwork like that. Very well done by Red Dragons. They take this objective. 4 points for them. They're going to also get this camp for their trouble. And once again, things looking relatively equal between the two teams. 13 being reached first by Crimson 5, but it's not going to be an advantage that they can take take advantage of. Top camp is going to be taken as well, while most of the team of Crimson 5 is busy somewhere else, potentially putting some pressure onto the top fort. The next 2 objectives are going to be mid and bottom. The camp was taken, but Dehaka is here to potentially take care of it. And there he goes. Alarak looking for a pick on the Garrosh. A lot of damage. Garrosh using Unstoppable and turns around and gets the Vala. Beautifully done. Unstoppable, a very, very good choice considering the amount of CC that Crimson 5 has. And it's going to save his life. It looks like Red Dragons are going to focus mostly on that bottom altar. Oh, maybe they want to push first, capitalizing on that Vala death to put some pressure. Betrayal Work is coming from behind, followed by Rewind. Will they be able to do something? Una, Ursa, and Thalis are simply walking away. Tyrande taking the bottom altar for herself. And the fight is going to be brought to the middle altar instead. Oh, beautiful drag onto that Garrosh, and he's going to fall despite the Unstoppable. And now it's a 5v4 for Crimson 5. Red Dragons just might have to give this up. They can give it up without being too worried. After all, this map can be turned around from any angle, even the most unfavorable one.
You're losing your touch, Raven Lord.
Crimson 5 is going to steal this camp. Very, very important maneuver to try and get the bottom fort. A lot more damage has been put on the bottom fort of Crimson 5, but if they can get the wall down and put some pressure onto the fort of Red Dragons and they take it down, that's potentially 2 entire camps pressuring that bottom lane, forcing Red Dragons to constantly have try and keep those camps from coming in. A lot of damage on Dizzy, but the Gust is going to come out, saving her life, but not for well, actually they're going to get the kill on the Vala. The ETC Mosh doesn't quite connect. Throw again on the Jaina. She's going to try and get some damage, but she's putting herself in a little bit of danger. We see Treyarch taking a lot of damage. She's going to be flipped, and all of the members of Red Dragons capitalizing on that. Now they're looking at Exune. Will they find the kill? A beautiful route from Rewind. Ooh, not quite able to save Alarak's life, and now Rewind is in a lot of trouble with 4 heroes on his boots. He's not quite going to be able to make it, and Red Dragons has the bottom fort now. And they're going to be able to pump out multiple of those siege camps constantly and bring them right at the door of Crimson 5. They're going to have to answer this. This is a lot of potential points for Red Dragons to take.
Be swift.
And at the same time, they're looking to get 2 altars at the same time. There goes one. They're looking for all 3, actually. They're going greedy. It's a very dangerous maneuver, but they're taking risks, and it might pay off. Liscutoria getting pushed into the back by the ETC. Silent stun, all of it goes down. ETC soon to follow with the Dehaka. Beautiful dash, a deadly charge, rather, by the Alarak, but the Owl from the Tyrande is going to take care of him, followed by a lot of damage from the Jaina. And now Red Dragons has now gotten all of the altars. They still have both of the bottom forts. They're looking at taking a boss. Things are looking good for them, and they have a slight advantage in experience, which means they might reach level 20 first, unless they take a bad fight before them. Things are still not over until they're over on this map. But I have to say, Red Dragons has a very, very strong lead at this point. Crimson 5 is going to be able to take back their fort. But meanwhile, Red Dragons are looking at the camps. 2 of them, in fact. We see all of the ultimates from Crimson 5 being ready, and the ones from Red Dragons almost ready as well. And since level 20s aren't up yet, this is the time for Crimson 5 to fight, to try and get an advantage before level 20s happen, and they're going to try and take it. A lot of damage going on to Dizzy, but she self-heals quite a lot. We see a channel of Anduin's ult, full channel that is going down, protecting his allies, and Garrosh is going to fall. This is the kind of pick that Crimson 5 was looking for to turn this game around. Lunar Ursa in a lot of trouble. I don't think she's going to escape this. Uses the ice block, but it's going to be too little too late. 2 altars are coming up, and since Crimson 5 managed to get 2 kills in this game, it's going to be a strong advantage for them. But Red Dragons still playing a little risky, taking risks, which I love. They're going to try and see if they can contest both of the altars. They already get one Owl Ghost to interrupt the other one, but they don't have their full team, and Alarak is doing a lot. So strong on that Alarak. Very well done. No kills, surprisingly. But that means that Red Dragons could not contest on that other altar, and they're going to have to let it go, but thankfully they do have a buffer, so they must not be very worried. Right now, Crimson 5 has a lot of pressure on their shoulders. They cannot let any other point go. Any 2 potential siege camp minions coming through, 1 objective, or a boss could spell there, and a very, very big Poison Nova connecting. The Anduin ult is going to be interrupted. That's a lot of damage, and Red Dragons is turning this fight on them. Interrupt the mosh pit, take down the ETC. Now only Shadonis and Mongo Man are left, but Shadonis takes a lot of damage. The root into the blizzard is going to spell his end. Both teams are at level 20, but with most of the team of Crimson 5 dead, while Red Dragons has their entire roster still up, they're going to be able to do a lot. They're going to wait before they take this camp, before they finalize it, to take down this fort here. Very, very good strategy. That way they ensure that the camp won't collide into the fort, and they can potentially bring it all the way to the core and end this game. They took down the top fort as well. Only 1 fort left to go. If they take it down, a barrage is going to go to rain down on Crimson 5's core. Still not up. Only Vala is up. She's going to desperately try and delay them as long as she can. But what can she do against 5 members of Red Dragons? They're going to be able to take it, and already it looks like it's going to be GG. Already 1 missile goes, and the other one is soon to follow. Red Dragons takes this series 2-1. A very dominant display on this 3rd game. I'm calling it. Every team that was on the red side tonight was dominating. And both teams are themed around red and dragons. So maybe red is OP after all. But either way, let's go to the statistics. Very well played by both teams. It's rare that we get to see 3 games like that, where all 3 games are dominant displays from one team or the other. Usually when we see dominant displays, it doesn't exceed 2 games. But that was very, very interesting. Red Dragons doing very, very well in this 3rd game, taking advantage of Zul's ability to push top and bottom very, very efficiently, putting pressure constantly, and it had to be responded to by both the Dehaka and the Vala at some points, which means that in the bottom lane, Red Dragons was able to put more pressure, and eventually it mounted up, and in team fights they did fantastically. That Alarak was very, very dangerous, but they managed to mitigate that. They did a lot of focusing on the Vala, and despite her large amount of damage, when she goes down and the Alarak doesn't manage to get his combo down, that's most of the damage of Crimson 5 that just went away. And Red Dragons, they had a lot of aces up their sleeve. Very good Garrosh play tonight. very good peels too. In my division in Div E, Garrosh players can be very good at being aggressive, but it's rare we see such good peels from a Garrosh. So I'm glad to have seen that in Div C West tonight. And I hope you enjoyed the games tonight. It's my first time doing a replay cast. Normally I do some live casting. It's a little different. The energy's not the same. I definitely prefer live casting, but this was fun too. Very fun. Let's look at the talents. We saw Falstad getting a decent amount of stacks from his Q quest. The Gust was very, very impactful to save his teammates at many different points of the game. Jaina doing a ton of damage as we saw. So if you liked some of those builds, you liked the way that those players played their game, feel free to copy those talent builds and use them in your own games. And maybe you can do as well or even better. So what did you think about about this match? We see Lifskew Toria saying that Tyrande carried you. Tyrande did very, very well. The stuns were on point, a lot of healing going out as well. And the interrupts on those objectives with the owl, and also the damage reduction. Like, there's a lot Tyrande can do on this map, and I love to see her being picked. So definitely shout out to you and your team, Liscutoria. Congratulations for your victory. And also, congratulations to Crimson 5 for putting a strong fight, especially in game number 2. And thank you for casting. Well, thank you so much for watching. It was a pleasure, and I'll definitely do some more. Hope to catch you guys again, maybe even for a live casting sometime in the near future. So thanks to everyone who joined. A little shout out for myself before I leave. I do some video editing. I'm currently looking for work. I do some freelancing, so if you're looking to have a project done, and you'd like some professional video editing, don't hesitate to contact me through any of my links in my bio on Twitch or even on Discord. Shoutouts to NGS as well. If you like what NGS does and you want to help them continue to do it, don't hesitate to donate to their Patreon. It really helps them keep things going. And watching the streams, watching the streamers, and to all the casters as well. I really love the NGS events as a whole. I'm so glad they exist. And thanks for the beautiful games that both of the teams managed to allow me to cast tonight. That was very entertaining, and I hope you were entertained as well. I'm going to probably be live tomorrow for a live cast. I haven't decided which teams yet, but we'll see. Until then, please take care of yourselves, continue to have fun, and I'll see you soon.